Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Avery and today's video is going to be a student loan update. I make videos all about personal finance and my personal finance journey here on YouTube, so if you're interested in following along, definitely subscribe and stick around. I have not made a student loan update video in quite a minute and I'm going to try my best to make this semi-coherent video. I feel like I don't know what it is about update videos that's like so hard for me to like formulate or talk about, but yeah, we're going to try our very best to keep this succinct and we're going to keep this to the point. Okay, so if you've been living under a rock or you don't have student loans, you may not know, but basically what's happened lately is the federal government is now restarting the interest on the SAVE plan. If you have been on the SAVE repayment plan with federal student loans, starting August 1st, the interest is going to start accruing again on these loans, but at this time you do not owe an actual like monthly payment. So you don't have an actual monthly obligation. However, if you're a little budget conscious like I am, you don't really want to see the interest accrue while you're not paying it down. So that's why I'm here now, ready to restart the student loan payoff journey for the final time. For the final time, we're gonna do it. Okay, so that brings me to my point, which is I need to make a payment, and I actually made one a few days ago. I've actually just had one hell of a week, and I have made a payment a few days ago. That way, I could make sure that it was processed in time before the interest started accruing again, and I wanted to make it directly towards principal for my highest interest loan, which happens to also be my highest balance, or it was before I made the payment. A little bit of background on my actual student loan debt is I took out a little over $20,000 by the time I left college, and I had a 4-year degree in political science. I ended up having $22,074.68 in student loan debt. My student loans since I graduated in May of 2020 have actually been in forbearance longer than they've been in repayment. It's just for various reasons why they've been in forbearance. During COVID, they were on a COVID forbearance, and then they were briefly in repayment when they first initiated the SAVE student loan plan or SAVE repayment plan, and then it's been back in forbearance again because they have blocked the SAVE plan and it'll likely be dismantled, but I don't know what's taking so long, honestly. But no matter, they say they will restart the interest because why not? Gotta make some money somewhere. And here I am now trying to do my best to get past them. During the past 5 years, I personally don't think $22,000 is a particularly high balance. However, I did not pay it off for a variety of reasons, and I'll let you know now. For starters, they weren't accruing interest like 95% of the time. So instead of necessarily putting money towards the loans, I took the opportunity to really build up my investments, to pay off a car loan, and to get my savings up. And I'm very happy with that, and I'm really glad that I actually focused on that as opposed to aggressively paying off a 0% loan, because I focused on the student loans. I know I would not have as nearly as much money in my investing that I do, and with investing, the quicker you can get money in at a younger age, the better it'll go for you in the long run as far as like compound interest and compound investing goes. So yeah, I'm not mad about not getting these paid off before they do this again, and also like I don't know, like that's pretty much it. I think it's what I did was probably the best decision overall for my long-term financial health. But since they want to start accruing the interest again, it's time to focus on them because it makes a little more sense to actually do so. My original balance, total loan balance, was at $22,074.68. During the time period where they've gone on and off repayment, I was able to get the balance down to $18,650.08. So that was what the balance was going into this week. Like I mentioned, I made a payment towards my largest interest loan, which happens to be my largest balance. So that loan was at $5,677 initially, and then I had paid it down to $4,824. And then now with this payment, I made a payment of $3,221.70. The new balance on this loan is $1,602.78. And just in case you want to know what the power of paying down your loans from an interest perspective, like how much interest accrues per day, I will tell you now. So the interest rate on that loan is 5.05%. So if I had let it stay at $4,824, it would have accrued $243 a year in interest, which split monthly would have been over $20 a month just in interest. And that's just one of the loans. So if you combine them all together at their various interest rates, I think it was around like $60 to $70 per month in interest. Making that $3,200 payment and bringing it down to 106.0278 at the same interest rate of 5.05%. That now brings down the yearly interest amount to $80.94, which split 12 ways means I would accrue interest on this loan at $6.74 per month. So just from that $3,200, I was able to get the interest down by, what is it, like $13-14 a month. And I don't know, I think when you think about it that way, it's more motivating, at least for me personally. If I kind of just take the average interest rate that I have, which I think is like, if I add them all together and average it out, I'm closer to about 4.5%. So not really as bad as like if you're taking out a student loan today. I really feel for you because they're they are, the interest rates are insane, especially nowadays. But anyways, if I take $18,650 and I just do like my average of like 4.55%, that means if I did not make any payments, it would accrue interest at a rate of $850 per year, which divided by 12 months is about $70 a day. So now that I've made the $3,200 payment, my new balance on my loan is $15,428.35, which same thing here, and this is just kind of quick math, so it's not like super accurate, but if I average this out to about 4.55% interest rate across all of my loans, I have brought it down to about $700 a year in interest accruing, or about $58.49 per month. So just that $3,000 has brought it down pretty significantly on a daily accrual, in my opinion. Hopefully that made sense. But yeah, so my target loan currently has $1,602.78 remaining, and my goal will be to pay this off probably by the end of September. I'm going to tell you kind of briefly now where I even got this money from, because you kind of had to like get a little clever in my budget to find this money, because I just knew I wanted to make as big of a payment right before the interest started accruing again. Okay, so a few ways this came through is I was saving some money into a student loan category in my budget. So I used the budgeting software YNAB. So I've been saving essentially sinking fund for my student loans, and I had gotten it up to I think like $1,200, and that was just me saving basically what I thought the estimate if I was on the standard repayment plan would have been again. But I didn't actually move to the standard repayment plan again just because Save has been on a 0% balance, and I actually have no plans to move it off of Save until I'm forced off of it, because I don't know, it doesn't really make a huge difference for me because I'm not shooting for forgiveness. I'm shooting to pay them off, and I'm shooting to pay them off as quickly as possible now. So it's like whatever. And ideally, I'd like to get them paid off before they move me off this plan onto another plan, because I have been moved across servicers, I've been moved across plans, I've been moved around. So I don't have any interest in consolidating the loans. I don't have interest in PSLF. I don't have interest in regular forgiveness. I'm just going to pay them off. I am about 30% paid off of my loans. So from the $22,000 original amount, I have paid off about 30% of the loan. So I think that's pretty good in my opinion, considering most of the time it hasn't been in repayment and I haven't been making payments. Oh, I know what I was talking about. I remember what I was talking about. So I was talking about where did I get the money. So I had about $200 already saved in my student loan category, and then I also got paid. I got paid an extra $500 from my job for a health incentive. So I put that money towards the student loans. My fiance, Nathan, he has taken over, we've decided he's going to take over the food expenses in our budget. That way I can take the money I was putting towards food, which is about $500 a month. Yeah, I'm not super good at this. $500 a month, and put that towards my student loans. And then, what was the other thing? Oh, we decided that he would just like for I think one time only, we had him pay my portion of our rent. So that was another $500 something that I was able to put towards my loans. And then I had some money just in my budget that I could put towards the loans. And some of those things were, I took money from my Christmas and holidays category just because I've decided I'm going to reduce how much I spend on that overall. I also took money from sinking funds where I didn't need the money for at least a year out. So for example, I got tires at the beginning of the year, so I took money from my new tire sinking fund, which would have been like 5 years into the future, just just because by the time I pay off the loans, I'll have plenty of time to build that back up again. I also took money from the Black Friday category, and then I took money from my AAA membership category. At the beginning of the year, I thought I was going to get AAA, but honestly, I already have roadside assistance through Geico, and I had it once through Progressive when I was in Progressive, and I used it once, and it's really about the same thing as AAA, so I was comfortable with getting rid of that and not paying, like, not putting that money towards that anymore, especially since it's been sitting in my budget for like 6 months. So I had $120 in there, and then I also had money in my license renewal category, and it's the same thing as tires. I do not actually have to get my license renewed until 2027, so $60 from that. That is how I got to $3,221.70. My target payoff date, I don't have a specific date in mind. However, I'm 27 now, and I want to have them paid off at least by the time I'm 30, which at the rate that things are going, I should be able to get past that without a problem. But you never know how things are in life. But yeah, that's kind of where my student loan update is. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you made any big payments toward your loans this week. If you like this video, please like it. Helps out my channel. Otherwise, I will see you on the next one. Bye now.